All right. So begins today's stream. My daughter is playtesting Mr. D Boy's Mr. Farm Boy. And we're sitting here and we're going to be talking about what are we doing next? We've got mining going in the game. None of it's how I would want it to play, but you can walk up to a mineable resource, hit it, it changes from one state to another. That change is reflected on server and client, and both sides can do that. So, what are next? What are next? I suppose we could start to figure out what are next. If I try and do anything building the world out, right now it's all flat and we can walk through anything. Because we don't have a system for collisions presently anymore. So that could be something that I work on. I don't think I should because we're still hitting that rollback stuff too often, which tells me that something about my processing of inputs, I think it's an off by 1. But we are not exactly 1-to-1. It appears to get off. Now that is a rabbit hole I can't open tonight. I don't have time for that in one sitting when I'm streaming at night. So what do we do? What do we do, boys? I could work on, we could try something with enemies. I think if I started that tonight, we would just be barely getting something going for that. At the end of the stream. By the end, we wouldn't have anything, but we would be close to, okay, we're almost ready to start doing it. I think it would be one of those kinds of streams. I could try and do some of the UI stuff. I could start out by just getting something going for it. We were talking about moving. One thing, Tom, thank you so much. I'll do my best. I shall do my best to bust some ass. Oh, I'm back again. I don't know what the hell that was about. I disappeared there, getting hacked. Pretty soon Max Headroom's going to show up on the stream. So how do we do this? What do we do? What are we doing here? I can show you the mining thing. Let me show you that really quick. So if we do this from the server. Oop. Oh, neither of them are going. What in the hell? There we go. Okay. So if, oh, we're not connected. So one thing that my game can do that it seems like a lot of people with Godot struggle with for some reason is, like, I can start a server and you can connect to it and it'll just adjust where everybody's at proper. And for some reason that seems to be hard using Godot's synchronizer stuff. But because of how I'm doing it, the game should allow you to just sort of connect to someone's place, even if they're off doing something else in it. It should be possible. Like, you don't have to go to like a lobby room necessarily. Conceptually, in the game, we may have that. Anyway, so you can mine clink. Now, obviously, the state changes too soon. Just pop into someone's world. That's going to be one of the main ideas of this. Is you're going to want to play to see other people's realms and see what they're doing in the game, and how everything looks for them. So yeah, so you can mine a resource and you'll see it changes on both ends. And both sides can do this, so I can go over here and mine something. Uh-oh. What is going on down there? Oh, we got a weird bug here, boys. What is this? Hang on. Start the server, connect. Maybe I was wrong about just being able... You know what it was? I think it's because we moved the second player. Let me see if I can replicate that bug. So I'll move... Wait, now I'm the... Hold on a second. This is server. This is client. If I do that. That seems to be right. That was weird. That was a weird bug. Okay. Well, I don't know what that was about. But anyways, on the client side, we can mine as well. And we presently have the server count on a timer. Something. Oh, now we're just running into bugs all over the place. Let's see what we got here. Phantom camera. I think I know what's going on here. What the hell happened here? Oh, I must have accidentally. Oh, we were there was tossing a ton of errors. Okay. Let's try it now. She's buggy. See this jitter? So when we do, so we definitely have a rollback problem. I'm wondering, should I start to do some cleanup? I think that's what I'm going to do today, guys. We've been talking about the server code and doing some cleanup on it, and I think it's probably time. I think tonight's a good night to do that on. It'll be a nice little chill stream. That's what we're going to do. What are next? Refactoring server code. It's time. If we're going to have bugs, we need to make them bugs we can find more easily. We need the code to be easier to read. It already is. But we're going to start formalizing some things here. It's fine. It'll be fine. Streaky time, 7 times. Streak the stream. John Millman, lucky number 7. Pulled a hat trick 4 days ago. 4 streams ago. 4 streams and 7 something tacos. 4 tacos and 7 streams ago. Okay, so here's how it's going to be. We're gonna need some sort of let me commit what I've done, because I do have a few more things I have to commit. It's so funny. The minute I'm like, yeah, this is, it's working out pretty good. Look, I can just blah, 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 and then a index error, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, oh, really? Okay. So we're going to close server out. We're going to close client out. We're going to move these. So we're just calling them static. That's not a really good name for them. Let's do a folder called multiplayer networking online MP multiplayer. Sounds good. We're going to move client, network, and server into that. Okay. And now we need to commit some code here because we moved some stuff. Go like this and go like this. Okay, so now multiplayer is in multiplayer. And we have multiplayer client open here. Now we need server. Excellent. Okay. And now we can create this new file. We're going to call it it's technically it's a connected client. Let's call it that, connected client. Okay. Extends node. No, sir. You're going to be a resource. We don't need something that heavy. Okay. And I think all of this stuff is going to be in it. And then we'll have a basic, all of this, these variables here between here, all the way down to here are going to be in the connected client. And then all we need to do is reference connected clients, which is a dictionary of integers that look up connected clients. So it's going to look like that. This is the base of it. Okay. So here we don't need these, everything changes here to be just arrays where it says dictionary. And so all of these int arrays are, we now can describe the data in a little bit more detail. So dictionary int array, and then I guess do we have to do like that? And then we say array. Okay, so now we can describe that data a bit better. And it's an array of inputs. So I think they're bool arrays. Except for these ones are input index history. I'm not sure what that would be. But this is an integer. And these, everything else I believe are just I'm not sure. So the other thing we need to have is a ready. Or do you not? No, it would be an initialize an init, because we are a resource, not not a node. We're gonna get added to the scene. So makes this a little bit more lightweight. Let us look for dir as an example. Process input. Okay, so we're using process input on player controller. What does that look like? Dir is a vec2, jump, bool, 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 and speed is a float. So this is a flute. This is a bool. This is a bool. This is a bool. And this is a vector 2. Ooh, what happened? Where did we go? That was weird. Zaflins, I hope you're doing good. Making some progress, Zaffle. Zaffly. But yeah, we're making some good progress. It's we are officially in making the game mode. We are doing some server refactoring tonight. So we're going to make it so that we can hopefully thin this out way more. And make it so we can easily debug the we think we have an off by one issue with our buffer replication on the server side. I am also chilling. My daughter is in the background behind me on the bed. Can't see her though. And she is playing Mr. D Boy's Um, what am I doing wrong with Mr. D Boy? Mr. D Boy is Mr. Farm Boy. Is it Mr. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, he's got an underscore too, doesn't he? There we go. He's just like me. She's testing that out in as we speak. All right. So we have this sort of thing here. So I mean, how far do I go deep on this, right? So instead of it's if connected clients does not has, do not has, no has. Then we say connected clients, client ID. Equals connected clients new. Okay. So the rest of this stuff here. Oh, I'll be playing this tonight. Oh, nice. He's working hard on it. It's a work in progress. It's early access, but he streams as well, and he's working on it. Very dedicated, and it looks like it's doing pretty decent for early access, I'd say. Yeah, it's kind of like a farming. It's headed towards being a farming. Like any of those Factorio or whatever, but all farming based. Something like that. Like if you've ever played Stardew Valley and wished that you could hire somebody to do the farming part and you could just manage people, it becomes kind of like that when you're playing it. So, and that's what I've always said. I wish we could hire somebody. I wish I could hire somebody in Stardew or any of the farming. I go straight to wanting to automate, Like in Minecraft, it's so frustrating that you can't create like agricultural stuff and then put villagers to work on it, It's like, hey, I just want them to work the farms. Hmm. 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 My daughter just came in as a villager. So how many lines are we looking at? 32. So we're going to comment out all of that. This is all going away. This is all going to go inside of Connected Client. The nice thing about this is I can store this mess in here and people can just think I'm a genius programmer and look at how clean his code is. That's how the entire server works. Wow. And then secretly there's this mother load. No, it ain't that simple. All right. Input packet last. Okay, so we do need to pass some values in here. Input packet last input index. And that's from the client. So we probably should associate the client ID inside here. That's the secret of a clean ABI. All right. So we want to put the last input index in here. Yoink. Like that. And then over here, we're going to say int last input index. Okay. There we go. Could not resolve class because of a parser error. I know. It's going to be like that for a long time, so you're going to have to deal with it. How about now? Okay, so that's what we're shooting for. So this whole junk here is just going to be 2 lines now. And then a lot of this is going away as well. So it's going to be like two things happen in this loop. And then this is going to get way smaller too. As a matter of fact, we may be able to make these calls happen inside here. If we want. Anyways. Well, 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 if it isn't the streamer who hates my guts. Damn it, Sorrow. Let me, by the way, I need to remember, let me do it now, Sorrow, before I forget. That's not my account. Scrooby-Dooby-Doo. I need to edit the panel for the redeems on the game. Gotta add Sorrow to the list. Star, Sorrow. Now you said you did 2 Sorrow. One of them got refunded. Is that right? Or you've already done one, but it hasn't showed up. Because I just did your 1, so I took those points away from you. And the cozy game. Okay. So that means you get 2. Yeah, I already see it. Okay, so Sorrow has times 2. All right, and then we're going to submit it. Okay. Should be updated on the about section. Let's see. I just got 3 to 4 hours of my ass kicked by a Unity-specific disaster. Oof. There is no warning, says Sorrow, for nav mesh agents with a radius at incredibly small numbers. If you are handling collisions plus radius with a custom solution. If you set the radius to 0.1 float, for example, or 0.01 float, for example, it essentially breaks the entire sampling voxel spacing for nav mesh, but allows you to bring the radius down. So you start getting agent not binding to a nav mesh. Agent can't find a nav mesh. Agent can't be activated when you change radius. Which obviously leads you down a rabbit hole to fix every other thing except thinking about radius. Can't find the right nav mesh surface. Yes, both now count towards cozy game. I think I'm calling it Life Sim. I don't know. What am I calling it? Sounds like a headache. I'm no Unity dev, but I researched a bit. But now, just researched it a bit. But nav mesh is for pathfinding. That's just the collision radius. Well, continuing on. I think this is nighttime streams is the streams for me to do the things I don't want to do normally. Because I don't have enough time to get anything really big started, you know? And so it's like, well, what can I do? What can I work on? So we have a dir. And these just become this, right? And it's not the input packet. Ooh, should we just send the input packet across? I think we should. Ooh, hang on a second again. Wait a second. We get a packed byte array. That's what we're sending, the packed byte array. No, hang on. Because we have to have the client ID. We have that from remote sender. Input packet. We still need input packet for everything else, right? Yes, sir. Okay, so then it's input packet. So then we'll just say input packet like this. Oh my gosh, a lot of this is going to get easier. And this becomes input packet. And then we say it's input packet. Is it input packet buffer? Yes. Right. Okay, and then so this line is clean. So then I think I can just go like something like this for these ones, right? Ooh, this is pretty straightforward. We just say boop. We go flash, boop, client, boop, like that. And then we go bam. And it should delete a bunch of that. But it didn't. It did. Oh, client ID. Boop. Bracket slash. Okay. It's going to look like that. Does that look right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Look at that. All those red lines go away. So last input index doesn't exist because we're getting it from input packet now. So we go back to that. All right. So then go like this. Getting there. Almost there for this. Okay. Now, physics frame, same deal. Physics frame is an array of integers. I don't know, is it? I guess it's a number. Okay. So then we just have these guys down here. We're almost done. And then obviously there's a bunch of stuff we have to change on the server side. Last input index. We're showing it as an integer. So this becomes just an integer. And then this becomes just an integer. And then this becomes just an int. You know that movie, The Creators, is pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Oh, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Physics frame. Physics frame, you say? Input last. Physics frame. Okay. Almost there. Ring head, same thing. Becomes an int. And then same thing here. Look at that. We're done. So we've moved all that stuff over there. Over there. And now this error should go away. Correct. Okay. So now that we've done that, we have a bunch of crap here we have to do. So this, again, I think so that what this is going to become... I think the same thing again. I think we're going to be able to, for the most part, like all of this is going to happen inside of connected client. So connected client's just going to keep track of its own states of what's my buffer at and everything that we're rolling through. And then over here, this will be the last thing we have to update here, which is this physics process thing. So we'll clean that up. And so this will probably be a one shot here. So we'll do a for loop and then just do a function call from connected client or to connected client. And then down here, this will shrink down to a couple of lines. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff. So we're going to lose about, hard to say. We're going to get under the hundreds though. Even if I delete this right now, we'll be sub hundreds, will be in the 90s. Just exactly 90. And then all of this is going to go away. So I guess I can start to delete this stuff. And we should see everything start to get mad at us when we do this, which is good. We want that. We want to keep connected clients. So there we go. So that'll look like that. And now all of the remaining lines that are yelling at us are the lines that we need to fix. Okay. So function says, I don't know what to call this. I guess it's just process. It's not processing the inputs. It's like an append. Ingress. Ingress inputs. Okay. Ingress is we're calling it something vague that's not quite set or update, because it's a little bit more of, we might reject them or ignore them. It depends on the information we get from said inputs. We're doing all of this to construct it in such a manner that it is easy to work with in Godot land, coming from a bunch of bytes, turning those bytes into variables that we then use in the world of Godot. And so, yeah. So Ingress inputs, I suppose. There's got to be a better way to do this too. If the client ID is new, we're just getting packets like wilding packets. Wilding packets. This creates the client if it doesn't exist. Means we're going to do the ingress twice for a new client. That's fine. I would prefer to be able to skip this somehow. But we always have to check every single time we get a packet. I hate seeing that. I hate seeing I'm weird about this. I always think about, hey, if something's going to happen again and again and again and again and again and again and again, it's not like a one-shot kind of thing. And I know it's happening over and over and over and over and over. The more I can reduce comparisons, I tend to try and shape things to do that. If I can do it in data, then I don't have to, like, you can architect things in data so you don't need to do a comparison, right? That's totally possible. I almost wonder, but see, even if I put this on, say I had just an ingress, right? I think what we could do is create this new connected client when the client connects, so long as that fires before we receive any packets from it. Does that make sense? So what we could do is give it a second, or we can check to see. I think that's how we could do that. So I think this will probably go away. I believe I can get rid of this. We can have this fire, the equivalent of this fire at the beginning. Then the idea of the new from an input packet, we handle it in ingress. We get rid of init. And on ingress, when it's a new, everything is new, that's when we set everything up. So we do this append and this resize thing. Yeah, we really don't need to do this. We can do this on initialization, and then I think we can do it. So that I'm pretty sure can go somewhere else. That's on Client Connect. Okay, I'm pretty confident about that. And so then we would access connected clients, which means this no longer needs to be private. This should be public. So this becomes a public variable because eventually we're going to need to talk to it on the outside. Or we have, actually, don't we do that already? No, we don't. Okay, so what we could do is, I'm going ham on this. We're doing the whole thing, man. This is in network. Start server, we have, here's connect and disconnect here. Main game add player ID. This is an RPC. This calls on both ends. From index to index, server peer connected. Multiplayer, clients, packet peer ID. Main game add player ID. Here it is. That is our friend. Okay. Well, we're not going to do it quite yet, but we can. But in the meantime, so this doesn't need to be public. We can still keep it private. Okay. Client ID in connected clients instead. Like that. Okay. Ring head integer. So we have client ID. So then we say, so then all of this is a little different. This becomes, these suddenly become public here though. So like ring head here. Ring head, this is connected clients, client ID. It isn't. If we're iterating, it's a lookup at that point. Integer. When you what were we doing? Ring head. In ring head. Huh. I'm half lurking and watching a friend stream DS3 until he beats it. It's going, quote, great. I'm going to play with SDL a bit. Had too much fun with Pi game. Nice. So I think this is solo connected client. Like that. If we're looping connected clients, we're getting when you do this, when you for loop a dictionary, you get the value, right? So this is a connected client. No, it's an integer. So that's, index. Then we say var connected client. Colon connected client equals connected clients index. Okay. And then we get connected clients ring head. Like that. Okay, so that's what we got to do for the rest of this. Can we change the wording on this to I mean, we could even call it CC. And that would make this a lot more readable. CC ring head. Okay. Var. So I think even at that point, we wouldn't need to. And do we even care? Actually, do we need? I don't know that we have our own ring head. So do we even need? So what we care about is the physics frame. How about we just have a function that we called execute next inputs? And here we just say execute next inputs. How's that? Then all this stuff goes into the execute next inputs function. Look at that. Okay. And that goes here. If I didn't say it, Zaflins, just, have a good night. Enjoy watching with your friends if you're going to bail. I totally get it. I get it. We don't need ring head. We can get rid of that. We have a ring head. We are the ring head. Now we don't have to expose anything on the outside, do we? I don't think we do. More and more that I'm doing this, the more I'm thinking everything's private still. I don't think we need to do anything involving exposing any of this. All we ever have to do is pass the input packet buffer over. That's it. And then when we execute next inputs, I don't think we need this if check anyways. We know we're on physics ticks. So is it going good, Jim? You know what's happened ever since I put my little follow count tracker? You know what's happened? I've gotten no follows. Um, since I have the little progress bar, I had a little progress bar. Oh, I guess I did. Bless Sploit followed yesterday. I guess so. I don't know. I think it's funny though. Not that I'm like, oh, wasn't even following me, but I do think it's funny though. It's like Twitch is like, hey, you really want to do this, and it's been nagging me about it forever, and I'm finally like, fine, I'll do it, so you'll leave me alone. And then, and then it's like, uh, it just cracks me up. Ooh, so see, we do need a client ID. See, I had a feeling. I was like, I think it's going to need a reference to itself. So var, we do need a client ID. Is an integer. So this does need to know who it is. So when we do this initialization, we do want to pass a client ID. And actually, once we get this refactored the way I'm wanting to do it, this will be the one thing we do pass over. Input packet won't be passed over on the initialization. So then we say client ID equals client ID. And then that's going to break over here. And we want to pass client ID over along with the input packet. So really it should just say client ID should be first and then input packet. So then we go back over here and we change the order that it comes in at. Okay. I do feel like it's not in my nature to do this, like do celebrations and look at the I'm going to get rid of it. I'm getting rid of it. I don't look at my viewer counts when I'm streaming. I don't look at I never like I don't look at my subs or anything. I try not to focus on that cuz it makes me turns me into turns my views negative for some reason. And actually I'll tell you when I get to the point where I'm getting ready to start putting the game out there and everything, I'm going to be very very much only assessing like wish lists and stuff in a very maybe on a weekly basis kind of thing or something, because it'll kill me if I look at it all the time. All right, I got rid of it. I can't do it. All right, so then we use local client ID here. And I suppose this is ring head just like this, so we can do underscore here. And let's make ring head underscore. Only thing that isn't here. Okay. Astronomy show. I couldn't look at the viewer count when I used to stream. Made me nervous. Yeah. I wish I could mute when I get rated. It'll be like, when you get rated and it's a big one, you start to become a bumbling idiot. It's like, oh, you just got rated by a crap ton of people. Like the person that brought in 40 million people, and you're just like, blah, 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 blah. You just turn into like a Looney Tunes character that just got hit on the head by an anvil. Okay. So that's what that looks like. So we just call execute next inputs. Booyah. We add the client. So this is, like I said, this is going to move. But we're not quite there yet. And damn, guys, we're going to get down to this whole... I don't know how I end up doing this, but the idea of this server, the thing that takes the packets and puts them where they need to go, that's what I'm calling the server. It tells the client, the connected clients, it gets inputs from the connected clients via packets sent from the clients. It processes those inputs to simulate the world, and then it sends out the server tick of what's happened.
That's cool.
This whole thing, cool. We've abstracted the input packet side of it.
It's cool.
Bouillon with the red. Oh, mon ami. I saw bouillon. You know, I like to put a little bit of pepper and cayenne, and you know, we like to make it hot. How's it going, bouillon? Riven, Maine, how you doing? Amy, what's up? Oh my gosh. What have you been working on? I haven't been able to catch your streams whatsoever.
I can't believe you've done this.
We're generally going at the same time. Thank you for the follow, Riven. Appreciate that. I'm in the middle of I was just about to say, so doing this whole rewrite thing for the server stuff. I don't even think we're using network data, so I think I can get rid of that too. I don't think we're using network channels either. Can I get rid of that? Can I get rid of this? Yes. Okay, anyways. Oh! I closed everything out. Hang on. It's like nothing happened. But we are working on the server stuff. We're gonna reduce this whole thing down to about 37 lines. But it's nice because you can just eyeball it and be like, oh, okay, here's how it works. And then everything else is sort of abstracted because we're taking packet data and either turning it into bits or we're deconstructing the bits. But yeah, so we're doing a little bit of a refactor right now. So I can't show the game. But I promise that it's coming along. We got mining going on. You can mine things. Zaflin, Zaflin, you were already here. Munglo, how you doing? Today, chat yelled at him as he tried out C#. What were they yelling about? Started messing with C# today. It was something. Justin Wilson. I think I remember. There's like a famous YouTube clip from that, right? Oh, a lot of semicolon kind of life. I want something else to get me through this. He was famous in his time. Trying to get him to read chat. Tackling Vim and C#. Oh my God. I don't think I'll be honest. I left Vim when I started doing C# and Godot. because I ended up needing to be in Visual Studio so much for debugging that I was like, well, I might as well live here. But I like compiled languages. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it, Boolean. I'll say so from a sales pitch standpoint for C Sharp. You get access to NuGet, which is a giant ass repo place, and so there's all kinds of stuff that you can do with that. It's almost like having a separate asset store on top of the Godot one. I would strongly suggest not to mix C Sharp and GDScript together. It's easier. I will tell you, it's easier to talk to C Sharp things that you've built to access through GDScript than the other way around. If you're trying to access GDScript through C Sharp, it is hell. Yeah, that's wicked. Wicked to go from all of that to Vim and C Sharp all at the same time. Yeah, you can learn Vim motions while you're in Visual Studio. Yeah. But it's not quite the same experience because once you're using Vim, everything is keyboard input. And that's not what it's like with Visual Studio. You don't do this thing. Look at my mouse. This came with my computer. This thing is wild. Look at this. I don't know how to get it to stop doing it's just constantly changing colors and stuff. I'm not looking at my mouse, so I don't know why people want lights on things they don't look at. But there it is. Have a good night, Pugorli. Yeah, I was doing Vim motions in Godot, and it is not the same. Yeah, not at all the same. Been using Vim motions in Godot for like 3 weeks. And when I was completely in Vim, it felt so much different. Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're like navigate, like, like I don't have to, I can just, whoops, I'm not on the right screen. I can just whip around here on the thing. And if I want to bring something up, I'm all on the keyboard. So I'm not, the thing I like about it is once you have it, it's all muscle memory, and then it becomes you're just looking at the stuff that you're doing and nothing else. And so it's for me, it's a very focused experience instead of this editor inside of Godot, and then all the shit on the left that you don't want to see anyways and all that. But it'll take some time. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't know about C Sharp inside of it. I don't think you can do debugging or anything like that very easily. Well, it depends. Are you on Linux or Windows? Because I believe debugging is, I can't remember. I want to say it's easier in Linux to debug than in Windows with C Sharp. I think it's one or the other. I can't remember when you're in Vim. But I believe that the better experience overall is Visual Studio, Visual Studio, Visual Studio. Like you kind of have to use it. Just making Pong as a community goal we reached. Oh, cool. Bought a mouse recently. It went on its own software, requested custom drivers, and a whole LED control software. Jeez. Sheesh. No. Not switching over. I know there's also the other thing, JetBrains writer thing. I just don't like it. I was trying that. I just don't like it. But yeah, C Sharp's nice. Having a compiled language is nice. Getting errors, like not refactoring in a compiled language is way easier, and compiling and getting those error, like the fact that you can't compile until you fix it, instead of having it be a little secret runtime problem when you're dealing with like a scripted language like in GDScript. But GDScript is like, everything's syntactically fine, but it won't execute right. But it's not going to tell you that until when it executes. When does it execute? It executes when the game is running. It's like, that's the worst time you want to find out something's wrong. So I do miss that when someone who bought it is playing it. Yeah, type mismatches. Yeah, you really have to try in C# to, I mean, frankly, the irony is when you're doing C# in Godot, it's when you're accessing the scene tree where it's like now you're back in basically like you're in GDScript and you could screw something up because you're still getting a node or something and now it's, trust me, bro, it's this thing. So that's the irony is whenever you're talking to Godot land, as I call it, that's when you're running the danger of screwing something up. But one of the other nice things, is, you don't have to be in Godot. Like you could set up all kinds of stuff to just be C#ish, doing their C# thing and not be in like the scene tree or anything. And that's really nice because Godot, unless you're like, this is one of the reasons why I'm going resource heavy more and more. I'm not using resources to save data in a file storage sense. I'm using it more because it's one of the most lightweight components of Godot. And I prefer not to constantly be adding nodes just so I have something to call something somewhere. So, and I need data structure. And the other nice thing about C# is you have structs, which is also really nice. I love structs and there's not any in Godot. So that's nice too. But I would say if you get a flavor for it, if you like it, then you could always use it in combination with GDScript, where GDScript talks to the C# thing, but do not try and do it the other way around. It's hell. Well, here's the other problem. The one reason why, because Godot is, because C# is a garbage collected language, whenever you use resources of any kind in C# in Godot, it's an object that gets, resources in GDScript are ref counted, but in C# they are sent to garbage collect. So what happens is when you're looking at the profiler in Godot, you see like millions of objects depending on the kind of game you're making. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's like, oh, you accessed this thing that went away and now it hit garbage collection. So that's a little frustrating. That's one of the reasons why debugging in Godot C# combo can be a little bit of a pain. I'm sticking with GDScript for now. But I may, I don't know. Like I may find, for instance, the packing and unpacking of packets through input for the packed byte array. Actually, that's a perfect example of where the combination of GDScript and C# might be good. Is doing a lot of the bit masking and byte level stuff that I'm doing right now would be a lot easier in C# than in Godot. 100%. So I might come to a point where I'm doing this and I say, I'm going to write this part in C#, but that is a big, now my entire project will always compile. And I don't know if I want to do that. I got mine set up now. I can have Godot editor running only for the LSP as I write code and debug with breakpoints and such. It's nice. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So resources in Godot and GD script are reference counted, but in C# they hit garbage collection. So that's another thing that's kind of a pain. I mean, it has its place, and one of the reasons why I left it was because I was working on a web-based game, a web build of a game, and so I needed to be out of C#. Gotta get some sleep, but I'll leave alert. Hope the rest of your stream is awesome. See you later. Thanks for all the help. Yeah, Bullion, have a good night. Sorry, so here's the funny thing. Before you go, I haven't been able to raid you because I have my rule about viewer count, and I can never get close to yours. So I don't get to raid you anymore because your view count's too big. Every time I go to raid, I'm like, okay, we got like 20 viewers. Let's raid. And I'm like, oh, there's Bullion. And I look and it's like, oh, he's got all these people. So I'm like, oh, fudge, I can't raid him. So, but much love. Have a good night, Bullion. Bullion. All right. So yeah, so now we're going to try and do, I'm going to do this. So the way this should look is we're just going to ingress inputs and we send the packet over. And actually this might, so this is going to be here, and then the rest of this stuff is going to go away. This is all going to go inside of our client code. So this is what the server code looks like now. There's our server. So all that our server does is it gets the player's inputs, and we process those inputs. What that means essentially is we're reconstructing the input timeline of the player based on the last successful packet that we received. That's an update of the inputs that the player has pressed. We use that to reconstruct it so that we can play it back in the exact same order and timing that it was pressed on the client side. That's what's happening here on physics process. On physics process, if we're on a server tick, we send a sim packet out, a simulation update that says, here's the state of the world. It's all the packets we need to produce to be able to recreate the world state on the client side. Okay. Then we also just execute, we process inputs. And oh my God, I think I might have figured out why, just looking at it this way, how clean this is now. I think I might have just realized that we need to process inputs first and then send the SimTick out. If that happens in that order. Anyways, so that's essentially what's going on here. It's pretty, now the actual like construction of that is a little bit involved. That's what's happening behind the scenes here on these function calls. But we're doing this because otherwise when we were building it out, everyone was bitching about my structure, but it was on purpose because I needed to know what I was building and I didn't quite know it yet. I think this is fine. So now what we need to do though is we have to get this code to work in our inside here, and the structure of everything's different. So so I believe we can just look for client ID and just get rid of that. Like that. There we go. Booyah. Okay, so this should just work. Wow. Wasn't expecting to have this kind of squared away the way I did. An hour and 20. Very successful. Wow. And I was shooting the shit. Wow. Damn. I need a good googly moogly audio redeem. Can we find a good sample of good googly moogly? Good googly moogly sample. I want the beat. Good googly moogly. Cross fingers. Okay. Trying to assign value type node to a variable type server on main. Money. Oh, you know what? We may have some new. We moved some things around. No. I'm wondering if. I bet I know what it is. I bet I know what it is. We have a special. Where is it? Data? No. Scenes. Trying to remember. Should be under data. Data. We have the more I learn about the way Godot does things, the more I end up doing things in Godot because see, it's broken. Okay, so this is pointing to the wrong. Okay, what is it bitching about? Client and server has broken dependencies in scenes client and scene server. Okay. Client, fix dependencies. Let's browse. This is now in multiplayer client. Okay. That's fixed. And then server, fixed dependencies, is now multiplayer server. Okay, so those two are fixed. Now if we try and open up core resources again, we're fine. Okay. Let's try and run the game. Here we go. Can we move around? We can. All right, let's try a connection here. Start the server, connect. Look at that. Everything's just as it was. So that's the server side. This is the client inputs. So this is what we really care about. Yep. And we can mine. Yes, we can. Look at that, boys. Refactor complete. Refactor complete. Booyah. Let's go ahead and commit our code. So we are going to say, what time is it? I always hide the clock on here when I'm streaming. Okay. Wait a minute. My daughter needs to go to bed. Hang on a second. I got to encourage my daughter to go to sleep. I didn't realize how late it was. I'll be right back, boys. Hey, Jim, it's time to stop. It's an hour and 20 minutes past your bedtime.
Oh,
Look at that.
no idea what to do. Not making enough money.
Maybe there's something you forgot about.
I can't go across the bridges, so I have no idea what to do. Oh my god. If I can't go across the bridges, I can't go places. Which means you can't make more materials. Which means I'm basically like
Okay, sweetie, give me a good night kiss. Come on. Love you. Okay, sorry about that. Um, okay. Apologize for stepping away there. So now we've got server processing. Server sends data. Server sends input packets and processing of inputs to connected client objects resource. Okay. Pretty straightforward. And is there anything here we can get rid of? Tick current. Tick in sex. Client index. We don't appear to be using this at all. My client. That's gone. That's gone. Unreliable packet. We do use that. That's the simulation packet. Okay. And let's run the game again because I just deleted something that may break things. Doesn't look like it did. Let's try and connect. Okay. That looks good. We're golden. Okay. Holy moly. So, the next thing I would like to be able to do is truly process the packets instead of using RPC calls. Now, I believe I know how to send packets, my artisanal packets, as we refer to them, but I don't know how to. I don't know how to get them. So in the multiplayer stuff, Godot docs. I honestly, I just don't know how to. You know what? We've got the new browser called what's it called? Zen browser. So this is an offshoot of Firefox, right? I like its appearance. It's a bit slower, I can tell, but it hasn't cached, so actually maybe it's not as slow. Not now. So how do I bring this up? I don't know how to bring this up for Godot docs. Let's see this. That's not promising. Hello? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Hello? Theodore? Theodore? Let's go to DuckDuckGo then. How about that? Hello? What if I just do this? Bro. Okay. We gave it a shot. Goodbye, friend. Godot docs. And we're going to look up multiplayer. So weird that they. Actually, it is very odd, when you think about it, that they threw the word API into. Is there anything else in their object names that includes API? Let's do a search. API. It only shows up OpenXR API. So why did they call it API? I guess because it fabricates around different potentially different technologies. Like you can use eNet or WebRTC or whatever, but then some of the underlying elements are the same. Is that what it is? I don't know. Nathir, how you doing? Single interface, multiple. So yeah, I guess that's why they call it that. I suppose so. Ba-ba-ba-bum. So love a good interface. Yeah. Yeah. I tend not to write like I'm making an API generally. But the net stuff has been interesting. It's definitely stretching my, I don't know, it's not like a comfort zone thing, but it is a little bit more um Here it is. Is this find interface that lets one program use another program's features? Right. Oh my god. Begun. You guys. Oh, I messed it up. Leave it to Cricket. Leave it to Beaver. Returns the channel over which the next available packet was received. Returns the transfer mode the remote peer used to send the next available packet. Returns the ID of the multiplayer peer who sent the next available packet. Returns the ID of this multiplayer peer. Get unique ID. Okay. And yet, so, how do I get the goddamn packet? I'm sorry, but how do I get it? I don't know yet. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure. So we have eNet multiplayer peer, which inherits multiplayer peer and packet peer. So what does packet peer give us? Because a multiplayer peer doesn't give us what we want. Packet peer has get packet. Gets a raw packet. Well, there we go. And we have get available packet count. There it is. Everything we need to be able to send our own artisanal packets back and forth. So this lets us bypass the RPC stuff, which is what we want to do. There is only one RPC call that we make currently that would need to remain an RPC call until we have the packets to not have it be an RPC call. Does that make sense? Which essentially is, hey, a player joined, right? Here's their ID. So that's easy. We start adding a header to the packets that we send. But in this case, it's a reliable packet. It has to be reliable. So we're going to have a whole different system for reliable packets. Unreliable is for clients is exclusively, I can't think of a situation that it won't be this, but is exclusively inputs. And server side unreliable, I'm pretty sure, is exclusively SymTick updates out to the clients. So that's the majority of the traffic, is that going back and forth. And then occasionally there's something that we have to send from the client guaranteed, like a chat message. But frankly, even something like that doesn't necessarily need to be that way, but it would be better to think of it that way. So, but it's all technically unreliable. All of it is. It's just Godot doing some fancy UDP stuff. Okay. So I don't think I can unpack this tonight. Here's the plan for the rest of the week, though. Tomorrow I stream. It should be a full day thing. Then Wednesday, I can't. We're not streaming Wednesday. It ain't going to happen. I can guarantee that. Then on Thursday, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take on Thursday, regardless of whatever it is I do tomorrow. On Thursday, we are going to send packets. We're going to set up that system of getting and sending packets, raw dogging packets. That's what we'll call the stream on Thursday. we're gonna raw dog packets. The nice thing about this too is we will be able to experiment with we'll be able to experiment with compression, which is something we haven't really done yet. Now, there's a default level of compression that Godot does for network connections, but there's like 5 different options that we have. So we can experiment with inputs in particular. I'm very curious about what is the best kind of compression for the way my input packets are constructed. And I think we'll be able to experiment with that. Once we get this going, we'll really be able to experiment with that and figure out what the best form of compression is sending those input packets, which will be cool. Because a lot of times those input packets are going to be 0 bytes. And I also had this wild idea. I'll write this out for you guys real quick. I had this wild idea for massively increasing the directional information from the analog stick, and keeping the same number of bytes that we're sending. Let me explain how I think I can do it. We're going to need to go to, so here's how I think I can do it. If we have a cardinal space, right? So if we think of it in cardinals, what we're doing right now is for every single, we figure out roughly what angle the input is, and we snap it to that, right? So right now we are sending north, south, east, west, and then the halfway marks. So northeast, northwest, south, southeast, southwest, right? So 8 total. But imagine this. If we think about it this way. So this is 8 total bits, right? 16, my brain. Sorry. My brain. So 16, you're right. So imagine this though. Imagine this. We send 1 bit to represent, it still need to be 2. All right. So this is still 4 total. Is that 16? Was it 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyways, so we say which. No, I was joking. Oh, you son of a bitch. You got me. Congratulations. So we flag one of these. So we're always sending these 4 here. But we flag 2 of them. And we say, unless we're going true north. Okay. Okay. But if we're somewhere in between these 2, then what we do is we flag which of the 2 we're between. And now we have 8 bytes of detail. Because we can just say of those 8 splices of a rotation around an angle, right? Now we can send 8 bytes that is details of or no, 4 bytes, sorry. Now we can send those 4 bytes across. And what we get out of it is exactly the same thing. We still send the same number of bytes, but now we can detail it because we can flag this one and this one. If these 2s are flagged, then we can actually presume another angle from that we're over here, right here in the middle. So we could splice it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if we wanted, I think. It's all about logic. We're applying a logic to something that you wouldn't normally think to. Because this is like an in-betweener. So if it's both of these and we don't have any other bytes flagged, then we can presume that we're at a 45, right? And then we get these other ones. So we can get one, or off of the cardinals, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more pieces of directional information by only sending the same exact number of bytes we're sending. It's just that we think about what they're telling us differently. Does that make sense? So instead of it being right now, it's northeast, it's whatever. We just rethink what we're doing, and then the same concept applies if the stick is somewhere over here, then we go bloop like this, and same number of bytes, but now it implies if we're going clockwise always, these are just degrees. So it would be what is it, 180 for the entire thing. This would be 90, right? It's 45-degree angles for 90-degree angle. Right angle is 90, right? 90. Yeah, because we're 360 for the whole thing around. So 180 is to turn around completely. Yeah. So 90 degrees divided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is that off the top of my? I can't do the math right now. Obviously, I can't even. Oh, we're in the programming one. So we get 90 divided by 5. 18 degrees. Yeah, I guess 18-degree increments. So total, this gives us what? 4 plus. Let's do it real quick. So this gives us a total of, for each angle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 4 plus 4. So that's 24. So now we have same number of bytes. We can extrapolate 24 possible degrees of our input. So we're going to do that at some point, but that is a lot of thinking, because I don't want a bunch of if statements and all that kind of stuff, right? So I need to write it in a way where if I come back to it, I'm not like, what the hell is this? And it needs to be fast. And we're in a scripting language, so we have to, and we have to do this when we send it on the client side. So, but I believe this should be possible. Same number of bytes. Our inputs are 10. Anytime there's the input byte, the input packet for each input is 10. We send 20 constantly across. Wait, what is it? No, it's only 2 bytes. Sorry, it's 2 bytes. So we'll still be sending 2 bytes, but then it's 2 times 20, which gives us to 40. And then there's 8 bytes as well for we have to send what tick we were at for that byte. For the input. What's the last tick we were at, kind of thing. So anyways, that's what we'll be doing. And let's go ahead and rate out. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, hopefully, if all goes well. It looks like Little Doctor's going. We should raid Little Doctor. I don't think Little Doctor's programming, but that's fine. Little Doctor's a super cool hang. Little Doctor does game dev, has a Steam game out. Let's see, where's Little Doctor? There we go. He's playing a game right now. We're gonna raid Little Doctor. Little Doctor has a game out. It's called. Sorry. I got the raid set up. Okay. Sorry, I'll do a shout out to. This might screw things up. Oops. God bless it. Screwing everything up. Okay, so we'll be raiding Little Doctor. Pulsar crushes the game. It's a multiplayer game. And anyways, super cool dude. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love to everybody out there. Be safe, etc.
Team Picks just dropped on Prize Picks.
Gotta mute that. I'm waiting for the ads to go.
The best part,
really?
It's available now.
You're gonna make me. I have to hear sound. Okay. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing good. This was a good round here. We did nothing's really changed about the game whatsoever. We just refactored a bunch of code, made things easier to sort of grep. And actually, we have future work for us now because we know we can remove. Now that we've done the refactoring, we know there's more we can do. We're just we weren't going to do that just yet. So. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. So see you then. Raid's going to happen any second now.
This has to be here. This is some Nausicaa soundtrack. Did Cricket raid and run? Well, anyway, thanks for the big 35. Oh, there he is. A young girl saves her village from invading demons and gets her first period in this moving Studio Ghibli film.